it's Corey here, and welcome back to my kitchen. So today I guess I'm going to be doing what can only be described as kind of a Halloween special, right? So thought about what I wanted to do for a Halloween special, and I figured since Halloween is so close to November and so close to our elections here, right, in the U.S., nothing much scarier than politics, and something I can testify to personally. So I decided to go down that road, and I thought, what's scarier in politics than a scandal? And what scandal is more scary than Watergate? So today, in honor of that, we are going to be doing Watergate Salad. So first off, let me say, I've done some research on this. I have no idea, and nor does anybody else, where Watergate Salad came from. And it's, of course, not a salad. It's a dessert, although by labeling it a salad, you get to eat it before dinner instead of after dinner, so it's not a bad thing. There's no evidence it was ever served at the Watergate Hotel. In fact, if you read certain I guess, histories of it or thought processes on it, right? Apparently, pistachio pudding, which is here, Jello pistachio pudding, it wasn't even invented until the late 70s anyways. It didn't even meet up with the time frame of when Watergate happened, but, you know, does it matter? Probably not. It's politics. So let's go ahead and get started, right? So what we've got is, and I'm going to change the recipe a little bit because the recipe that's Watergate salad recipe doesn't have enough marshmallows for me. So we're going to actually be doing a couple of cups of marshmallows. We're going to be doing the half a cup of chopped pecans here. We've got the can of crushed pineapple, and it's in its own juice. It's not in a syrup. It's actually just in its own juice. Don't drain it or anything. Leave the juice there. You need the juice. You're also going to have a cup and a half of whipped topping. Now, honestly, you can just use a cup and a half is almost the entire tray of whipped topping, a smaller tray of whipped topping. You can probably just use the whole tray if you want to. Not a big deal. And then this box of Jello pistachio pudding mix, it's 3.4 ounce box. Now, the reason why I actually have this here is because at one point in time, the Watergate salad recipe actually was printed on the box. It was one of those recipes that just was ubiquitous. It's been around for a very long time, and just like all these fluff-based salads, if you will, they've been around for a long time, all the way since the 1930s, 40s, if I am understanding history correctly. Basically, ever since whipped topping was created, there has been these fluff salads, and they normally involve fruit. They normally involve some sort of nuts or coconut or something. They're all similar, but each one, depending on the pudding that you use, each one's inherently different in the way it actually tastes. I also find Watergate salad to be very interesting because of when the era and the history, right, that it actually was created. So on one hand, you know that this stuff was like served at church picnics. I've had it at church picnics, and it's been served at baby showers and whatever else. You also know that it was probably served at parties where, like, everyone's keys were put into a bowl. It's just part of this recipe and this way that this is put together, and the eras which it covered. It's part of its history, I guess. So, but let's go ahead and get right to it. This is pretty simple. I do like to mix the whipped topping in last. I don't want to ruin the actual texture of the whipped topping. So we're gonna go ahead and mix in the pineapple here. The marshmallows, go ahead and put those in. The nuts. And then go ahead and just open up your package of pistachio pudding, put it straight in, nothing special. Throw that away real quick. And now, so this, we're just gonna mix it all up until it's well mixed, and then go ahead and fold in the whipped topping. So it's not gonna take very long, maybe 45 seconds, a minute, just kind of mix it up. Make sure the pistachio is fully mixed up, everything's fully kind of just evenly dispersed. The marshmallows and the nuts are evenly dispersed throughout the mixture. Now, with the whipped topping, you don't want to overmix the whipped topping. The more you mix it, the more it loses its consistency of what it is, which is whipped topping. So just be careful that you basically fold it in, you don't really mix it in. So, like I said, just real slowly, just kind of mix it in or fold it in. Make sure you get it fairly well mixed up in there. You don't want to have areas of the Watergate salad that basically are all whipped topping, or that they're all just pineapple and pistachio pudding. You do want it to be blended very well. You also want to make sure that when you're doing this, that your ingredients, especially, your whipped topping, of course, is not hot. It's okay if it's, somewhat, I guess, defrosted. I mean, obviously when we buy whipped topping, it's generally in those tubs that are already frozen, right? It needs to be defrosted. It needs to be, I guess, refrigerator temperature, but pull it straight out of the fridge when you go to mix it into the actual rest of the ingredients. If it sits too long on the countertop, just like whipped topping always is, it will deteriorate, the texture will deteriorate. It'll start to just kind of devolve into a liquid and not be whipped topping anymore. So, and as far as the other ingredients, just make sure that they're no warmer than room temperature. You're not gonna wanna take something very hot that's maybe been sitting in the car or something and put it in here, because the more this heats up, the more the textures change. So this is ready to go. I'm gonna put some saran wrap on top of this, put it in the fridge for an hour, and then come back and check it out. All right, everyone, so it has been about an hour. The Watergate salad is completely set and ready to go. So one thing I think that we fall a little short on, I do it personally as well, it's presentation. And when you're doing really incredibly simple recipes like this one is, that doesn't take much time, doesn't take much effort, you have to elevate it somehow. It doesn't just elevate itself, and really no recipe elevates itself. It's up to the person who's doing the recipe, or the presenter, to actually elevate that and to plate it nicely and to make it appealing for everyone to eat. I think that growing up as a kid, I remember eating these types of salads out of just like punch bowls, or out of bowls like this, that you've taken the saran wrap off and just served it, right? And we know from say charcuterie versus lunch meat, presentation is everything. So when you're presenting something as lunch meat, it gets treated as lunch meat. It tastes like lunch meat. It doesn't have any type of specialness to it that's going to make you want to have that item. And that's why it's so important to actually, on a recipe like this, go ahead and proportion it out. Go ahead and make individual servings. Make people feel special. So today, I went ahead and did it with Halloween. So we'll go to the Halloween one first. So this is very much like what kids would have. So I just put it in a cup. You can kind of see there's some gummy worms in here I threw in there. I used a chocolate chip cookie on top that I had crushed up and just put across to kind of make it look like dirt. I think we've all done this as kids, where you had a pudding cup that had, say, Oreo cookie or something along those lines, and some some gross worms or some fake eyeballs or something like that. And that's what this is. And if you want to use obviously a plastic cup, you have a lot of kids or something, this would be the way to go, especially for Halloween. Now, if I'm doing this at like a dinner party, right? So say like it's Thanksgiving or something, I'm going to be serving it here. So what I have here is a stemmed cocktail glass. I just simply put some inside, put some Watergate salad inside the glass, and topped it with a maraschino cherry with a little toothpick here, just like we would if you actually had a cocktail. And this is the way that I believe is probably the best way to serve this, at least in my circumstance with anybody who's coming over to my house. This is the what I would end up going with. This is okay, I guess, if you're sitting on the couch, but by yourself. But think about who's coming over. Think about how you want them to enjoy the meal. Think about how you want them to enjoy the actual food that you've made, and then elevate it accordingly, like what's been done over here. So also a reminder, once you actually proportion these out, right? Go ahead and put these back in the fridge until they're ready to serve. This dish, like revenge, is best served cold. So keep it in the fridge. The longer it sits out, the more the flavor profile changes. In my experience, even in a punch bowl or in a bowl like this, Watergate salad only has a table life of about an hour. So after an hour, you might as well throw it away. The flavors have changed too much. The textures have changed too much, and it is not good anymore. So keep it cool until you're ready to serve it. So let me go ahead and take a bite and see how it turned out. Oh, it's good. It's good every time I've had it. It is one of those things that you think when you try it, you taste both kind of the history of it because of the flavor profiles in it and when those flavors came together, as well as just childhood memories of just like I said, this is, I'm sure I've had it at church picnics and stuff like that. It's all there. I've had it for lots of holidays and occasions like that, and all those memories, all those thoughts. It's there. It's part of my history. It's part of kind of our history here in the U.S. This exists. These flavors exist, and they exist together. So flavor in it's really. I like the extra marshmallows. I do add extra marshmallows, and that will be reflected in the recipe whenever I have it. But play with it. Everybody's a little bit different. Some people are not going to like pecans. You could substitute a different nut if that's what you want. Some people are going to want more marshmallows. You could even put more marshmallows if you want. You could add a little bit of different flavors to customize it to what you want when you're making it. But try it this way first before you start adding more flavors. But it's totally up to you. Once you actually try it and you see what it needs, there's definitely different ways to customize this to fit exactly what you want for your own personal taste. So, and I truly recommend that you do that and make this recipe your own, just as I've made it my own. And that's what I'm presenting here today. So thank you for joining me on this recipe adventure. Join me next time. See y'all later. Bye.